Welcome to Still Drippin' Happy Hour.
Welcome to the Still Drippin' Happy Hour. I got Hayes Holla. This is your host, Mason. We're going to get straight into it. Remember to go on Instagram and Twitter and follow us at StillDrippinTN. Hayes, who you got for us tonight?
I'm going to try not to fanboy too much on this whole thing. And so I'm really not. I'm not trying to make you feel goofy or anything, but it's rare that well, number one, it's rare that you get to give people flowers so they can still smell them, right? It sounds cliche, but it's true. But the other thing, it's not very often that you get to talk to somebody that you truly feel inspired by. Like I'm an old man, dude. I'm an old guy. But when I was starting to produce music and DJ and do all this stuff, like I was crap. I was trash. I was horrible. And when you're from Nashville, like this guy who's on our podcast, Dee Goodz, is like the Jay-Z of Nashville in my head. Like, and I think that's legit. I'm not giving you crap. Like I'm really not. You can ask Mason. Like I told him all that. I was like, this is like he was like the pinnacle, especially when I was starting getting into DJing and music and all that. I was trash. And he gave me the time of day, and I spent some time in the studio with him. I don't know how that happened. And it was nuts. And even when I was garbage, and this guy gave me the time of day, and now look, and he had an album come out yesterday. And I think this is the fourth or fifth project I've gotten to be involved with. And I'm just totally, crazy. This is crazy that you're on our podcast. And so that is my introduction to Dee Goodz and all Dee Goodz, everything that we're going to talk about. But I'm just really grateful that you'd spend this time with us, man. For real.
You know what? I appreciate the mutual respect and love. You know what I'm saying? It's the love is back. You know what I mean? I'm a country boy at heart. You know what I mean? You know, I grew up in the city, but I'm a country boy at heart. So I'm really big on like rock with who rock with you. You know what I mean? That's the most natural vibrations that we can get. You know what I'm saying?
100%. All right, you were about to tell a story about your family, which you do not have to tell that on this, but we were going to ask about your background and all that.
This is regular conversation. Like I ain't got nothing to hide. Like,
yeah.
You know?
So who are you? Like, who is Dee Goodz? Somebody's never heard of you. Who are you? Where are you from? All that.
Nashville. Before Nashville, I got to Nashville. Let's just put it like this, right? Because just so everybody understands, like. Because this is a Nashville podcast, so I want Nashville people to understand, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, because they'll be like, people will be like, yo, why does he don't sound like a South rapper, right? Sometimes, right? If I like offer different things that I rap on and things like that, right? But they got to understand, I came to Nashville in high school. So I was born in Tennessee, but moved to Detroit, Chicago, Baltimore, and then finished up in high school. You know what I'm saying? Nashville.
Wow. Was your dad in the military? Why are y'all moving around so much?
I mean, my dad was just like a go-getter. He was just trying to do his thing. And then he started working with like different little shoe companies, like shoe stores. And then how it goes. He was playing the retail game, hustling and bustling. You know what I mean? And so, my mom was a teacher. She could just pick up and go. So we would just every time the opportunity was he would, he had another opportunity, you know what I'm saying? And I would be a victim of that. Like, my little brothers, they never really had to go through that because they grew up in Nashville. Mm-hmm. Like, they each were born in different cities. Like, Daniel maybe, but, like, my youngest brother, like, he fully Nashville. Like, well, he was born in Baltimore, but he grew up in Nashville, you know what I'm saying? But me, I really didn't. I remember when I got to Nashville, like, it was, like, culture shock. You got to think, I'm coming from Baltimore, like, it's like going from like, I always tell people this exact statement. It was like going from the Belly movie to Varsity Blues. like
especially in the 90s, like late 90s.
Yeah, for sure. Like nobody could understand. I couldn't understand what people were saying. They couldn't understand what I was saying. Right. They thought I was just the cockiest dude ever just because like my mannerisms were different. Like when you're in the city, like you like, it's just natural to talk shit. And you know what I'm saying? Like, but down south, like, that's like boasting, you can't really, just do too much. You can't be like, can't dress too well. You can't. So I was like always the different guy. Now I went to college in Alabama.
I was gonna say like Alabama A&M. Is that where you went?
Yeah, I went to Alabama A&M. You know what I mean? So when I went to school in Alabama A&M, like college wasn't for me, but the school was. It was HBCU, and it's like such like intimate with the teachers and stuff like that, right? That like I was able to get that, you know, that nurturing and finish school and I graduated, you know what I mean? But my last year in school, I had a baby my junior year, I had my oldest daughter, my junior year in college. And I remember like, shoot, I had lost my scholarship. I really didn't have I ain't had no loan paper to like finish for real. And life hit for real. It was just like life, like, survival for real. You know what I'm saying?
What are you, 20 at that point? 20, 21?
19.
19. God.
So it's like, shoot, I was 19 years old, like having to like take
having
care
a sack. Just a young
like, yeah, you know, having to do what it do to feed my family. But it just became, and then it's like, boom, then I started rapping kind of. It's like my homie Ralph, he actually he go by Anthem Beats. He been on like every
this is college kids and dropouts era.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh,
yeah. No, this is the Big Dreams project.
Okay. All right.
You know, this is the Big Dreams project. This is before I met B Jones. I'm still in school. I'm in Bama, so I'm working with this dude named ATX. He like still do his thing in Atlanta and stuff, and in Texas. And then my boy Anthem. Anthem got like Grammys. Like he out of here crazy. He probably got like 4 Grammys already. They was my suite mates, and you know what I mean. So
okay.
Anthem made beats all day, and it was crazy because I remember I could tell you exactly how it all started. Pac Div was on the cover.
Oh yes.
They was on the cover, or they had a slot in the XXL, and they was just, and I was big on streetwear. I used to work at Finish Line in Hickory Hollow Mall. Like that was my first job. So
well, you had to deal with Rocksmith or something at one point too, right? That was early.
Yeah, that was early. That's a little further down the line. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But like I came up like, you know, working it. I knew the whole city for working in Finish Line. You know, so this is a sneaker podcast. Like I am like no cap, right?
This is barely a sneaker podcast.
Yeah. I don't even do the sneaker thing anymore, right? I was Nashville's original sneakerhead.
Yeah. Well, that was I mean, you're talking, that was pre your currency days. That was Dee Goodz waves, right? That was when it was a lot of sneakers.
Mean, more so around that time, right? But like towards the end of that, around that time is when I was really like getting phased out, because my first year in college, well, my senior year in high school and my freshman year in college, my dad had seen I had like over 350 pair of shoes, right? And he was like, and he came in my room one day and like it was shoes just all everywhere, and he just tweaked out. Like he just tripped. Like I don't know if he was going through something. He still apologized for that to this day, because like that was the money. Like if I had resold all the I had every drop since like 2002. You know what I mean? So it's like
Hickory Hollow's dead now, but back then it was the only place to go to get shoes.
Yeah, just for feet. Just for feet was trash, but I mean, Shoe Carnival trash. I mean, you at least had Hickory Hollow Mall. Foot Action was in there.
Yeah, you had like 3 stores. So my boy, my best friend was at Foot Locker downstairs, right?
Okay.
I was at Finish Line. We really ran before. This is sneaker pimps days. You feel me? So like we were selling sneakers, but the world didn't know nothing about that because we would lose our job. Like it wasn't something that we was trying to tell. My dad was an exec. Like I couldn't do that. Like he would have lost his job. Like if I'd have told everybody my little routine, how I was running it. You know what I'm saying?
So was he with Finish Line? Is that how you got that job?
Yeah, my pops was with Finish Line. You know what I mean?
Got it.
So I'm gonna make a lot of sense. I'm gonna make y'all make a lot of sense real quick. You feel me? Right? This one time, I'm gonna do it one time because I ain't never really told my story like that. But I'm gonna tell y'all today so it makes sense. All right. So my dad was at Finish Line. All right. I don't know if y'all know anything about Complex and the owner of Complex, right?
Enough.
A little, yeah.
But he's the product of Finish Line.
Well, I didn't know that.
You know what I mean? He's a
That's
product of
Joe.
Nashville.
Well, but that's not Joe.
Yeah, La Puma. He's a product.
Okay.
My dad was a district
Okay.
manager. Feel me?
Okay.
Right. There's another big sneakerhead dude. I ain't gonna throw his name out there, but he used to be the regional manager. He owns some stores in the Midwest. You know what I'm saying? Some sneaker stores right now. But so I was like, this is like I was in a like this is like Nike talk days. You feel me?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like so like nobody was on that. Like I was, it was different. You know what I'm
Well,
saying? It
especially
was
not
like,
in Nashville, not to what you're talking about.
bro, you gotta understand. Like, so all right, fast forward, right? Here we are. I'm in Nashville. I graduate school. I come back. I'm working for Deloitte.
He's smart.
Yeah.
That's a big four, right?
Downtown Fifth and
We're not talking
Church.
about H&R Block, right?
No. I'm talking about like, so
Liberty
like,
tax. He's not spinning a sign outside of your gas station.
exactly. You know what I mean? So, but when I get out, the economic crisis is going on across the and they let
So
go
2008,
2009, 2010. So they they let go all the first year. So I was back in the streets, like, damn, I don't got no job. I got a baby, right? So I just did the next best thing and applied for film school at USC. And I ended up getting in school out there, but I ain't had no way to pay for it. So I just went like, you know what I'm saying, right? Let me figure this out. As I'm going out there, it used to be this pop barbershop on Melrose. This is, Supreme is out, but it's, you gotta really know Nashville ain't on Supreme.
No,
sure.
no way. Not
Right.
at that
Nobody's
time.
I'm the only one in this, Dom Kennedy and all of them.
Yeah.
You see them posted on the block, like,
Yeah. Nashville was Hollister and American Eagle and
right. Tyler
and
the Creator is getting off the school bus, like, you know what I'm saying?
Oh,
no
yeah.
cap. So like I'm over there. I'm the only guy. I'm the only person that these people have ever met from Nashville. Like, Nashville, what is that? You know what I'm saying? So it's like I'm going out to LA and I'm moving around, and because I run into my guy from Rocksmith, Michael David. I meet him at the South by Southwest right before I get to LA, and we just kept a rapport. And they outside, they doing some West Coast stuff. And they got me just like interning at first. And I'm in school though, but I'm not in school because I can't pay for it. So I'm just like finessing at the time, just going to class, but like kind of just getting connections and stuff to shoot music videos. That's what I was really trying to do. And then it's like, and then this is Los Angeles just becomes medical, so it's like,
oh yeah.
this the world is nobody, nowhere else in the world can you go but Los Angeles. So I'm like, oh yeah, I'm here, I'm chilling. You know what I'm saying? So after that, I meet my guys from Rocksmith. My first project for them, like as like an intern, is shooting a commercial for Casey Veggies. You feel me?
Yeah.
So I don't know who this dude is or nothing like, right, but he's got
he was dope at that time.
Right, he
had a little wave
as his manager, and like they like some high school kids. I don't know nothing. I'm from Nashville. I never heard of them, right? But I ended up shooting some stuff for them, and then just met them, and then they would introduce me around people. They would be on the block every day, Fairfax, right? And I go over there, and then like like when you're young like that, everybody's smoking weed and linking up, and you're running into people. You feel me? I ended up at South by Southwest. That same time when I met Mike, I met like the people from Two Dope Boys, and that was just on some like that was really on some random, like I'm kicking it. I ended up having like a drinking game with Shake, like on some like, I didn't know who he was, but it was just like, shoot, I'm buying drinks at the bar. This guy's right here. We going back and forth. And then he ended up seeing I rapped, and boom, there was a story was told, and we'll get on their blog. So then I did the LA thing. LA, I was doing my thing out there, but just so far from everybody. Like I didn't know nobody out there. I had a family. Like, you run into a couple of real situations out there, you know what I'm saying? Like, so.
Well, you got shot out there at that point, right?
No, that's in New York. So I went after
that was
LA.
New York.
Yep. After LA, I went back home to kind of like take care of my little one for a minute, you know what I'm saying? And then, I couldn't pay for school. And then I was working and I remember I was working in like Sunglass Hut in like Cool Springs Mall. And it's crazy because I had did a song that South by Southwest, I'm kicking it, and I run into this little, like this little kid, like, and he's like, my boy, these little kids, and they're like, yeah, we like your music, whoopie whoop, like I'm gonna link you up with my artist. And ended up doing a record with the dude. He sent me the, what I'm saying, the song.
I see where this is going. I know where this is going.
We did like 3 records, like back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And I'm like, oh, I never even thought twice about it. Like after I did it, whatever, because I had kicked it with them all the time, but they was like some little kids. So it was like I was really chaperoning them because they couldn't get in nowhere, and I was just moving around with them. You know what I'm saying? And so you know how it's like, my homegirl had all the excess, so I'm letting them roll. Like, y'all cool, come with us. You feel me, right? And at the time, like, we out there, we trying to start our own little brand, so we rocking our stuff, and they want to move with us. The kid ends up turning into Mac Miller.
It was like, this is going to Doobie Ashtray, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
if my history serves me right.
Yeah, so like he ends up turning to be Mac Miller. So like I always had.
So I did not know that story. I mean, I thought that's where this was going, but I definitely didn't know all the details of that.
Yeah, he was like a little kid, like
I know, like 16, 15, 16.
Running around
from Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
bad as hell. Him and my homie Q, they was like bad as hell, running around. I'm like, dog, what is y'all doing out here in Texas? Like, but I'm like, you see what they was different, you know what I mean? All right, so after that, now I'm buzzing, right? Because he blows up, you feel me? And I just start getting this, this little wave off of that. I'm gonna keep it real. That was what cranked it up because like I'm gonna say something like Nashville just wasn't that diverse yet, right? It's
not with that scene. I mean, I couldn't even tell you people, and I'm a native. Like, I mean, I could go back and name guys that you wouldn't have heard of, but definitely nobody that was. I mean, Young Buck, but really, I mean, what?
But I was Mac Miller. Mac Miller spoke to Nashville like in a major way. Like,
oh yeah,
a lot of my homies that like I went to high school with, like they identify with Mac Miller. You know what I mean? So it was like he was like this generation's like next Eminem. You know what I mean? Like super, but he was like a super crazy talented like musician.
Guitar, piano.
Like
it's pretty much safe to say that you discovered Mac Miller, right? We can say that
pretty much. Yeah.
Nah, not at all. But like he was already dope as hell. You feel me? But he just they took it to a whole nother level. But he allowed me to. It was a great mesh because Nashville was new to new hip hop, right? And they had like really liked Mac Miller. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of the publications, everything. So it helped to brand and identify who I was. You know what I mean? Like you know what I'm saying? Because at the time, it's just like a lot of people just may had not known new hip hop like that, and he was like a good artist for them to. Like channel into, and then they're like, "Oh, he knows a guy from Nashville,"
Yeah. So are you saying there's more records with you in Mac Miller besides Doobie Ashtray that we don't hear?
B. Jones got them all. B. Jones,
he's got them all.
Ooh,
he got them all.
Oh man,
we're gonna have to get him on the podcast. See if we can release some.
Nah, he's not. Hey, look, he's not. He's not trying to let go any of that like old stuff. Like I don't know if he's trying to do like
all in the vault
stuff in a few, but he's got it all. Like. He got it all. Like he's got Mac Miller stems. He's got all of that stuff. Like
what?
That's like worth $1 million, probably.
Probably.
What year was this when this all went down?
2010, 11.
Okay.
Was this Congratulations era?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Yep. So like right after I graduated college, I dropped Congratulations. You know what I mean? That was like, my little ode to NERD and all of that, right? So, then I came back home. I'm chilling. I'm hanging at this downtown studio with this guy, Chad Little, just moving around through the city and, hustling and bustling. And I meet this guy, Chad Little, and he introduced me to Mimosa, the EDM artist, right? So Mimosa takes me on my first tour. Like he's a festival, a DJ. So I just hopping on tour with him, end up doing Bonnaroo with him. So when I did Bonnaroo, it was just like lit. Like
oh my gosh.
the city was just like, oh, but you know, it
You're
was a
for
play.
real.
Yeah, it was a play because it was like I had the buzz and I haven't doing anything, but it was no way they would have booked the local for Bonnaroo. They just don't
Yeah.
do that. You know what I'm saying? So, but Mimosa had put me on this tour, so I get to perform with him. And I ain't really do much, but the clip I put out, I had it rock. So
I
that's all
remember that.
I had all I needed for the press, and I put that out. And, you know, it boom from there. You know what I'm saying? So then after that, so Mimosa, he's on tour, and he's like, yo, he's moving to Brooklyn and he's working on this album. He's like, and plus we got shows. He's like, bro, you might as well just come up here and stay with me. Right. So I'm like, you know, I'm 20 at the time, 20, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
20. I'm like, hey, yeah, I'm coming. You know what I mean? Right. I go up there and to kick it with him. And we go on some shows and he ended up having some things go on with him. And he quits. He fires his entire team one day. Just tweaks out. Man, from that point, I was homeless in New York. Like
So what year would this been?
this is like maybe like 2010, 2011, right?
Is this okay? So is this Dope Don't
2011.
Spoil?
This is 2011, 2011, 2012.
Is this Dope Don't Spoil era? Because you filmed that's one of my favorite Dee Goodz songs. I was not to steal anything, but like I remember that video. And is that around then?
That came after that.
That was
right?
after that.
That was after that. But like that whole ordeal was probably like months maybe before or something like that. So like I'm in New York, but you know, I'm a savvy dude, so I got different little, you know, acquaintances. So I'm in New York and I'm like, I'm homeless for like a couple of weeks. I was staying in Bowery, Mission, right? Now that's in the middle of Soho. I'm in this spot, but he flew back to like Europe or wherever, Oakland or wherever he went to, and just left the spot vacant, didn't take none of this stuff, but they cut all the air, everything just got cut off, like the air, the electricity, the water, all of that. So like I had like a couple of days in there, but it was like, nah, I couldn't stay in that thing. It was like no reason for me to stay, you know? So, and like, you know, like I had even for a second before they had did all of that, I was like trying to pay to get the, you know, but this is New York rent. Like rent was like 4K a month. And I'm just like, nah, this is crazy, you know, and like this is like my first time coming into on my own. It just didn't work out and I'm being homeless. Like, but like that kind of like broke me down. So you gotta think like at this time I'm like popping off the music, right? But my life is not right. And it's like
at this point, is your daughter, is that like, is family what's getting you past all this?
so
Because
look,
dude, this is heavy crap.
oh,
Like this isn't just I lost a job. You're in a place by yourself. And
what's my
dude,
first
that's some
album title?
adversity.
Family, friends, and money. All right. So, you know, I'm in New York, right?
Yeah.
Now I'm moving around. I ended up like, I'm just gonna keep it real. Like I'm hustling and bustling in the Lower East Side every day, but I'm popping. So I'm like getting all the hip hop shows. Now I met Nipsey Hussle in 2008 at the BET Hip Hop Awards in Atlanta, right? I think it was 2008. When he had Hustle in the House out, I snuck backstage doing production, right? This is crazy. My homie had got a plug for me. My homie went to Clark. He got a plug for me. I mean, he went to Morehouse. He had a plug for me to come do PA at the thing. So I went on there and did it, right? And I'm backstage. Don't nobody know who Nipsey Hussle is, and he's smoking big dope. Like, oh man, he's smoking so much. He's smoking so much.
I'll tell you a story in just a second.
And I'm just like,
keep
dang,
going,
bro. Like, let me hit that. So like, we back there, we just smoking, we chopping it up. And so that's the video. If y'all ever see that I put out, he like, yo, I'm with my boy Dee Goodz, and I'm one of my homies from LA. Like, you know, they from the same set and like, you know, just like neighborhood. And this is like my good friend. So from school. So when I said his name, I'm like, yo, my homie always spoke of Nipsey Hussle. Like, so I had been on the mixtapes and everything. So my homie was like, and I'm like, yeah, you know, I know so-and-so. And I'm like, that's my boy. And then he really embraced me like, oh man, hey, you know what? You with us. We going out with Jeezy and all the other Crips tonight. I'm like, nah, I'm cool. You know what I'm saying? Right. But you know what I mean? Like, right. But this is like, That's
That
how I met
sounds
him.
like
So
trouble.
I'm in New York, and my first show ever, like major show, right? Nipsey Hussle allowed me to open for him, like just on a random. He picked me. So like my first show is
Oh
at
my goodness, I didn't know
where
that.
Vashti. What's the name of that spot where Vashti and them used to do this stuff at?
What?
It's like one of the most. It's closed now, but it's like that's a flyer for it on the internet. You got to see. You feel me? But it's there. It was like a big show. So Nipsey
Okay.
Hussle got everybody coming out, and I'm opening. So in New York, I get the grand opening in New York, like, and I rock the show. Like I freestyle for like acapella for like a minute straight and go crazy. It's video footage of it out on YouTube, and yeah. So I
I
New
remember
York
when that
just
happened.
instantly was like, oh, we with him, right? So at the show, ASAP Rocky is at the show, LEP Bogus Boys, every other exec is in there, you know what I'm saying, right? And I'm independent, like, so I got a lot of relationships through that show, so I ended up from there just like doing my whole underground New York thing. If you remember when I was in Nashville, I'm giving y'all like, I'm running my mouth, man, my bad. But
No, you're good.
This is
yeah,
so fun. Like I'm telling you, I'm just trying not to fanboy.
I was before, so during the time when I was in New York, I would come back to Nashville and throw shows. It's so funny because I started interning for Rocksmith again, working for Rocksmith. So through them, I mean everybody, and then I come up with this plan, right? I'm like, I had a little cheese, I'm trying to flip it. I started throwing shows, right? So I'm throwing the show, and I'm putting Rocksmith, I'm finessing like totally. I'm putting myself on the bill, right? I'm throwing the show.
Hey, by the way, Rocksmith would be now. I feel, unless I'm just totally crazy, a now defunct streetwear brand that I haven't heard of in years.
Right, exactly. So
can I tell a Nipsey Hussle story real quick? I don't think I've ever told this on this podcast. I've met Nipsey Hussle. I met, rest in peace, Nipsey Hussle at Fat Caps. He had a concert. And before the concert, he had a meet and greet. I don't think I've ever told the podcast this, so that's crazy. But it's related to what you just said. I go in, I meet him, I hand him a CD of all these whack beats because I'm trash at this point. It doesn't matter, but his main guy takes the CD and it disappeared into Narnia. It doesn't even exist anymore. He threw it away or whatever. But dude is so stoned, he can't even get out of the seat to say hi to me. And like, this is a meet and greet. And I was like, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I was disappointed. I was like, man, I'm getting to meet this guy. I listen to all his songs and everything. But it reminds me of a Kobe Bryant quote. And this is why this is even more cool that we're getting to talk to you is Kobe Bryant always said, during the preseason, I'd play all these games because this is the only game that this little kid from whoever knows gets to see me play. The only time he ever gets to see me play. Like, I'm just not going to play because it's a preseason game. It kind of reminds me of that. And so this feels like you representing that for me is like, I'm going to come on this podcast. We have a few hundred listeners. We got a couple thousand downloads. And like, this feels like that to me. And I'm very grateful, but not to talk bad about it.
You've been in the creative process, so I gotta keep it real. You know what I'm saying? So we're in New York, right?
Yeah.
I'm coming back down south. I'm start throwing shows because I'm working with the Rocksmith team.
Yeah.
And they literally every rapper wants to wear Rocksmith because Rocksmith came up with the little marketing plan and like we're just gonna use the rappers as promo, and the rappers wanted the free promo. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, shoot, we getting all the rappers, we getting the Kendrick Lamar early, we getting everybody, right? And so I'm getting access to the rappers, and I'm just like, hey, can I book you for a show in Nashville? So, and then I'm throwing Rocksmith on the flyer, people in Nashville are thinking it's an official Rocksmith event, and they coming, you know what I mean? Because had they not, they would have been like, who is these people? Like, they didn't even know who, but they wanted to see what's, I just understood the culture out there. So I'm like, boom, that was working for a minute until people figured out that, like, I was in the show and on the show, and then they stopped that. So they was like, they just, they kind of just stopped that from me. You know what I mean? We'll get into that too, but.
No, well, listen, so this is the day after you just released an album. Okay. So tell us about, I think this is a great transition of your brand, the album, Like, talk about all that. How did all this happen?
Hustlers don't cry. I mean, I was just in a state of mind. Like, I be feeling like a lot of people turn their back on me, right?
Mm.
Title came up in a state of depression, but it was
Mm.
you know what? I can't. I'm a hustler. I am the hustler. Like, people know me as the hustle and bustle guy. You know what I'm saying? So I can't cry about it. I gotta keep hustling.
Mm.
You know what I mean? And that's just what it was. Like, cause it's like, man, you can make money, you can make everything, but it's like, if nobody is like embracing that shit, just don't, you don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did the clothing come before the album? It sounds like it did. Like, it's a way bigger thing than just an album.
Well, I came up with the saying, and then I like just was putting some merch on my site, and it went stupid. And then like All Star Weekend happened in Atlanta, and I people was hitting me up, and a store asked me to do a pop up, right? And I did a pop up, and I made almost like $12,000.
That weekend? Holy crap.
Holy crap.
Yeah, so when I
Just selling
boomed
shirts
like
and
that,
hoodies. I mean, I know the whole lot. Like, you got varsity jackets, and you got sweats, and you got socks, you got everything.
yeah, I went initially just had the white and red hoodie, white and red tees, and then fitted hats, right? So the first day I came, I mean, a Friday I sold out, and I was like, dang. And then and I had a lot. I had 40 pieces, so I'm like, I sold out, and then I read up the next day, and just got a lot. And then for the weekend, and I literally sold out every day. Like every day, I was going back and getting more merch. Luckily, I just had a spot that I could go get it from, and I was printing more stuff. Like I was literally going to the printer at nighttime instead of going
What?
out and dropping off stuff and picking it up early in the morning, going to the pop up. Like that's how lit we had it. So when I
And this
did that, it
this was
was
all
like
during COVID too. So like people weren't even going out and you're still selling everything out.
right, right. And then I discovered like Facebook ads and stuff too. So like
Oh,
around the
yeah.
spot. And one thing I've never done is promote myself properly. Like I've always been like a kind of organic guy, but then the world changed. So like I got like digital media and marketing people now. And they, I actually, I put a plan together and a campaign, and it worked for the clothes, and it's been working. And we really can't even keep clothes. Like if I put it online, it gets sold out. Like
So where can we find it? Like, there's a website, or social? I mean, where do we find this stuff?
hustlersdon'tcry.com. Everything is there. Just check us out. Hustlersdon'tcry.com. You can find everything there. But so it started off as that, and then dropped the t-shirt, but it was always an album. So I had some original music that I was gonna drop, and I was so West Coasted out. I had been doing the Cali thing, doing the Cali tour so much, and I was just like, man. And it's like, all right, so the Cali thing in Detroit in the Bay Beats, I was doing that like 2 years ago, like, but at this point, then I start seeing the whole world do it, and I was like, nah, I can't be in the mix of that. So I kind of just was like, and I was just uninspired. Everybody started dying and rap, and like I just was like not feeling rap. And then I didn't tour this last year, like in the fall, because of COVID. That we had the new scare, the new variant, and I went and did some LA shows like in August, right? And some I did like a run of like 4 shows, and I got like crazy sick, and like the sickest I've ever been off of COVID, and I just got spooked, and I ain't did a show since.
Oh, man. See, I'm
Literally.
still recovering. You can probably hear it in my voice. Like, we've covered it on this podcast. Like, I'm over it. I'm done. I'm sick of it. But
Yeah,
I'm glad you're okay.
yeah, for sure. I'll bounce back.
You mentioned something, and we've talked about this on the podcast a lot, just like depression and overcoming like hardships like that. But something when Hayes told me you were coming on, I went to your YouTube channel, I went through all that stuff, and something that I thought was one of the coolest things, and what Hayes and I are trying to figure out what to do in terms, and you'll see where I'm going with this in a minute. But you had something that when I watched this video on your YouTube, All Goods TV on YouTube. Something happened to you on September 11th, 2013, and you said 7 years later to the day, you went out and fed 1,000 families in. Was this in LA? Tell us about what inspired you to do that, and
you ever been to
just tell
Skid
us
Row?
about that.
Yeah, have you
I've heard
ever
about it.
experienced like Skid
I
Row?
haven't
Have
been
you all
there.
I
ever
have.
seen it? Oh, this was such a good question too.
Oh, there you go. We got
There you
you.
go.
We're
We're
back.
good.
You're back.
Okay. So yeah, like I don't know if you guys have ever. All right, so I was homeless before, you know, like I just told you guys, like, man, when I first got to LA, I stayed in a freaking shoebox, right, like right off of USC's campus behind this Hardee's, this like broke down building. Me and my boy, we had a 1 room in a kitchen apartment, like literally one studio room, like a shoebox in a kitchen, right? Like a half kitchen that you couldn't even do nothing in. So I always felt homeless, like, and then I would, where you kind of like just would see people and all of that, right? And then I was homeless before myself. So I always said, like, when I got myself together, like, that's one thing that, and then I just started this thing I would do that I'm gonna start. I don't really document it a lot, but I do feed 1,000 families a lot. You know what I'm saying? I did it once to kind of market that and kind of get some like assistance with it. But
Yeah.
so that's when I did the video and stuff, right? But that was like kind of the launch with it. But man, like I'm a people person. Like I am directly connected to the people. You know what I mean? Like I feel the vibrations of earth. I feel those around me, like everything else. And so like, stuff like that inspires me, like that, like meeting those random people, like seeing what happened. If you ever talk to any of those people, like it's crazy because like one wrong decision and that could be any of us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
One life changing situation. So I give all glory to God for allowing me to have the life that I have. But like I felt like that things like that are necessary. It just keeps you humble.
So talk about your daughter then. So you're the AAU dad, you're a basketball dad. Like it feels like that is just the thing that keeps you really, really grounded and going.
Yeah, because I mean, like, we spend this whole life to acquire things, but things don't matter because when you die, what you can't do with them, you know what I mean, right? But why not invest in people and then, be able to change lives and, you know what I'm saying, save souls, That's more so how I be moving. Like, I do the wild stuff too, I have fun, you know what I mean? But what's more important to me is like family. Like I literally have given up. It's no doubt in my mind like that I could be way farther in my career if based off different decisions that I made, right? So when I was like my most in income, I chose to move back down south instead of like really fully indulge in the industry. Like it was at the age where like, my daughter needed a father, so it's like am I gonna chase this to be a rapper and do all this up here, right?
Man, you're
and
preaching.
then sacrifice like my daughter's life and her upbringing for my wants. That's just greed, I felt like God had given me like he had given me, and then I'd be facing a lot of like scrutiny for that because a lot of people be like, oh, he fell off, right? But it's like I really kind of quit. Like I really just was like, this ain't really. Yeah, I'm like, I've been on a complex. I've lived my dreams for real. I've did what I want, like things that I wanted to do. Like it's time for me to set new dreams and new goals. It's just that I love music so much, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
like what's most important to me, what makes my heart beat is my children, like, and my family, like being around them and seeing them grow up and being there at all her biggest games and being able to capture all the moments, like that's more important to me, like, like making sure that her future is set, like, because, I just feel like I got a lot of more life to live, but that's part of something that's like very, like, I don't give a about no money. You know what I'm saying? I rap about that all the time, but I rap about it because it's so easy to make
It
money.
pays the bills.
Right. It's so easy to make money. Like I get money. I don't let money make me. I make money. You know what I mean? So that's my motto. Like I make money. I don't let money make me.
Yeah.
So like I stand on things that like are important to me. And I'm big bro. I said this in a tweet today. Yes, I mean today. I'm like, I'm big bro to a lot of people. So I gotta move accordingly, you know, and I mess up at times and you know what I'm saying? I'm not always like the proper role model that I should be, but that's because I'm a human and I'm learning every day too. But
Yeah.
like my main goal is to spread positivity and be a ray of light to those who need it. You know what I'm saying? Because I've been through everything. I've been shot. I've been in the streets.
You've been homeless.
Like I've been homeless. I've been in jail. I've been to everything. And I had the highs too. So it's like, you know, I've been everywhere. I know every situation, but you know, it's just like I feel, and then, you know, the way that I'm affected by people has allowed me to know that like God is let me know, like, man, maybe my purpose is to inspire others. Like maybe it's not about me getting rich. You know what I'm saying? But maybe it's about me inspiring somebody else to be able to change the world.
Yeah.
You know?
So she just lost a big game. I saw she lost the city championship. She's disappointed. I saw your videos too. Like, what was your advice to her?
Bro, it's the hardest thing because like
a sneaker podcast.
Her coach had asked me to be assistant coach, just be off for like, you know, my daughter was the only 7th grader on the floor, right? So she really don't have no experience with playing like big games like that, but she's a big gamer. So it's like, but she's a 7th grader. She's not an 8th grader. You know what I mean? So emotionally and
I have one of those.
She might not understand. Yeah, you know, you get it. Like she's a kid. You know, 8th graders are a little bit more mature, and you know they got the internet, and so they figure it out. But 7th graders, they're not 8th graders yet. You know, they're still watching cartoons and you know. So she was just in that baby stage. So, and then me and my daughter like really worked out. So when she came to the team, she was, you know, just on a whole nother level. My daughter is a pit bull. She don't cry about no sports. She don't really lose like that, right? So it was a great experience for me because this is probably her AAU team. They smack everybody. She's got rec league championships, you know, like rec league championships, right? So this is like her first time like losing
a real game.
Right. This is at the big lights, the big floor, the whole city is here, is jumping, right? Parents screaming, it's live, it's packed in there. So, you know, I think I created a monster off this one because like she took an L, but like even after the game, she wanted to watch footage. She already knew what she did wrong. She was just talking to me about it, like, man, I should have did this, and I should have, you know, and that's just good, you know what I'm saying? But you know, that's the first time I seen her cry in a long time, right? So it was just like, you got to be a coach, but then it's like, dang, girls is different, bro. You got all these girls coming up, crying and it was an emotional moment, man. I had to get up out of there. I just left right after, like, I let her ride home with her mom. It was like, I didn't even want to deal with that. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like the worst kind of guy. Like, I didn't have no sisters, bro. I had all brothers. And then I had a dad who was like super athlete, competitive, you know. So I didn't grow up around girls. Dudes. Yeah, all dudes. So like, you know, I don't really know the emotions thing. You know what I'm saying? So like, and I push my daughter like a mom. So I try to relax sometimes, but I'm just so passionate, you know. I don't want to burn her out, you know what I mean, before it gets to her. But it's like, you got to play this game hard if you want to play it. I mean,
What's the best parenting advice you've ever gotten?
Well, this is the thing.
A sneaker podcast.
You gotta let your kids experience what they're gonna experience, you know. And then like you can't, when things happen, you cannot like react with little girls because then they won't tell you. You know what I'm saying? Right? But you always got to keep a level head, even though you want to snap. Cause like I'm at the age now with boys, right? Yeah. So just oh my gosh, just today, my kid is telling me that I'm picking her up from practice and whatever. I mean from school to take her to practice. And she tells me that when she walked over there, two boys was her friend told her that two boys told her, man, she's bad, right? And my daughter's like, Dad, what does that even mean? Like, and I in my mind, I'm like, what? Who said that? Right? But then I'm like, it's like she doesn't even know what this means. You know what I'm saying?
It's great.
That's a good thing. Yeah,
it's such a good thing.
Like, so it's like, and it's just crazy, man. Because as a dad, like, I just don't know, man. Pray for me, man. I don't know what I'm getting into, but hopefully my daughter, if when it's all said and done, hopefully I can manifest her playing as a UT ball. You know what I'm saying?
I love that.
That's my number one pick. So hopefully I see her playing on TV as UT ball and then extending her career to the WNBA. That's what I want to happen,
Yeah, so you got her. I mean, she's in it for real.
Yeah, like we got the trainers, we do plyometrics, man. We out here, we play on 3 different AAU teams. Ooh. We got we come up there sometimes and shout out to Team Brandon Wright, we come up there.
Oh, go Heels.
Okay.
Yeah, we come up to Nashville and work out sometimes. So
okay.
Speaking of Brandon Wright, man, BA has been killing it in the past month with their athletes. Jalen Ramsey just won the Super Bowl, and
Darius
Garland just made the All-Star team. Yeah. BA.
Yeah, for sure. That's my dad's preaching that every freaking day. He's like, you need to just let it come up here and stay with us and attend Brentwood Academy.
Might as well.
Seems like they got a pipeline.
Yeah, hey, so I like Brentwood Academy. I like BA.
Related to Hustlers Don't Cry, your brand, Virgil just died. So, I mean, who inspires you and like, who are you looking at to say, man, this is what I want my brand to feel like and be about? Or is it just really off in your head and you just kind of go with it?
I mean, I don't want to get my sauce up too much, right? But
no, that's fine. That's fine.
Like I look at, like, I've been in the streetwear thing a long time. You know what I'm saying? So the things I pull from, people can't even understand. The people that I know and I think is fly, people wouldn't even understand. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Right. But like, so I pull from a lot of the OGs, like, that I know that inspired me with fashion and stuff like that. And, but I want to make Hustlers Don't Cry is my for the people brand, right? I'm gonna come out with another brand too. It's gonna be my high-end brand, right? Okay. I can't really get too much details on that, but it's coming.
Well, I mean, that's where you've gone. Like you went from the
Hustlers Don't Cry will be in retail stores this year. We got a couple stores, like a bunch of stores asking for stuff. What was the question one more time? Because
so it's gonna be in retail. I can see what you're saying too, because it's kind of followed how you started the story with your dad threw away all your Jordans, right? You had 300 something Jordans. Well, as time has gone on, it's become more of the fashion. You wear a lot of Balenciaga. You wear a lot of Off-White, Gucci. Right. It's matured as you've gone on. So it makes sense that you have 2 different brands. You got more of the street level and you got like the higher end.
Yeah. Cause I'm like, I'm an older guy, you know what I mean? Like I can't just, my daughter, every time, if I throw a Bay video, my daughter thinks it's funny as hell. Like, you know what I mean? Like she laughs at me like, right. Like she tries to make fun of me. You ever seen those R. Kelly pics where he's like, looks like a kid,
yeah,
like with the outfits that he has on. That's how my daughter send me a text with a meme like that. Like
Allen Iverson is one too. Like you look at these old pictures of him and he's got these clothes.
Yeah, so I don't ever want to be that. So like, I try to like dress it up a little bit. Then, I do a lot of like, I got like some other little businesses and stuff. And so you have a means and, you meet in LA and I work in film too. So like, and just, you meeting up with people, you got to kind of dress accordingly.
Yeah. Well, I saw in your Hustlers Don't Cry, in the photo shoot a few days ago, you had on some trophy clubs. I mean, trophy room ones. So I mean, you're not
Oh,
totally out of the game,
oh,
right?
I mean, with them was like, don't think I like paid 8 G's for those. I got those like when they first came, and I finessed. So I ended up getting them for 1,200 out of a guy coming out of Complex
Gosh,
Con. And like he just didn't know what he had. You feel me? And I think he had kind of
you got your trophy rooms coming out of a guy coming out of Complex Con.
yeah, well, whatever that was that I was at, it was like an event in LA, basically like a sneaker swap, right? I can't I want to say it was Complex Con, or it was like the week of Complex Con. And like literally I'm on the block. Well, it all started like this. I'm walking in front of one of the stores, and I got on a certain type of chrome heart jeans, the orange ones, right? I had paid like a grip for, and a dude had bought them right off of me in the store. He had like cashed me out. You feel me? Like right there, I took them off, bought some Bape shorts, put them on in front of everybody. Like my homie has this. It's on YouTube. It's on YouTube. Y'all gotta look it up. But my homie has it. I literally took my shorts off right there. Desto store is literally like two stores down from it might have been round two that I got the shorts from, right? But I bought this dude shorts over there, and then Desto had a store literally right over there. So we was just kicking it. So I buy these shoes and I'm coming out. And then this other dude come out, he got like hellish kicks. And he like, man, I just came out of joint, and he was like, man, I got these, I got da, 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 da. And I'm like, he's like, I want 1,200 for these. And I'm like, my boy, like, we instantly on the flip, but
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? But I ended up keeping them, But I'm just gonna keep it real, right? I ended up keeping them. And I'm not gonna cap, like, today's shoe game is very weird. Okay. Right? I have a rule. All right. It's only certain shoes that
I
I will
love
buy.
this already. Oh my gosh, I love
It's
this.
it's only it's only certain kicks that I will buy off a person. The kicks that I know that I can never get, right?
Mm.
If they are good enough and they pass my eye check, I'm gonna buy them. You know what I mean? Right? I don't get into the whole Blu-ray and all of that stuff. If they pass my eye check, the box is great,
Mm.
everything is official to me, I'm buying it. You know what
I
I'm
That's
love
saying?
fair.
that. I love that.
Yeah.
Just
That's it.
because it's like, like, I mean, I've gotten scammed on kicks, like I'm not like I'm old, bro. So it's like I'm I'll go to a trade show, and I've discovered that, like, yo, these kids, the stuff that they're doing over there with these fakes is crazy. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh,
so
insane.
I don't really buy. My sneaker game has fell off because I'll buy what I can get that I know is official, and then off the apps, right, that I win,
Mm-hmm.
or like a Grilled or something like that, like, or like, whatever else app I'm using. You feel me? I'm not gonna promote none of them, but you know what I'm saying, right?
No free shout outs.
Right, yeah. But if it's like, if I'm at like Cool Kicks LA, or like, one of the like the premier like buy sell trade stores, and people are out there selling some sneakers that, like, and they pass my eye test, I will buy them.
There you
You know what I mean?
go. I can't hate that.
Because I'm wearing them. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not
Not trying
really,
to flip them
yeah, I'm not
most of the
trying to
time,
now.
probably.
If
What's your
I'm
favorite? Like top five?
if
To,
I can get them off, I'm gonna get them off. And that's just how it goes. You know
yeah.
what I mean?
What's your
Top
favorite pair
top
of
five
sneakers?
sneakers.
Yeah.
Top 5 sneakers of all time. Like, it can be any brand.
Go
Oh
for
yeah.
it.
All right. I used to, as far as Jordan, right? I'm gonna run with the uh they just released them, and I've still haven't picked up. I got a size 9 and I can't fit it, and I sold it. But the Lightning Force, that's my number one, because it goes with
Mm.
everything. You can be like be just dressed ridiculous and throw on some yellow Lightning Force, and it's gonna be swaggy. You know what I mean? Right? So boom. That's my number one sneaker. You could just throw it, and I'm giving that free
Wow.
sauce out there. If you don't know how to dress, you can throw on blue jeans with yellow sneakers match with pretty much every cover type. You
Okay.
know what I'm saying? Boom. There you go, right? All right. Number 2, I'm gonna choose a dunk. I will go with the De La Soul lows, right?
Okay. Classic.
Wow. Yeah.
Right? You know what I mean? Just because like that's like my first thrust into like being like my first actual move to be like an official sneakerhead. I slept outside to get the black and pink Yeezys outside City Gear. Man, it was crazy. It was a crazy experience because we went in there and got our shoes. I was the first one to get my shoes. I got my shoes and left, and everybody else who got their shoes got robbed.
Oh my goodness. What?
I feel bad for laughing.
That's horrible.
Wow.
They was
that's
robbing
awful.
people in the parking lot. Me and my homies Tuck, we had slept down there and we had got ours. And then he was mad because he didn't get his size. But we had like the first, like we was like one of the first 4 people. And so I got my size. He had to get like a 10.5, I think, instead of like a 10, because I had the 10. And as soon as we left, we just start seeing people pull up with pistols and rob people in the parking lot. Crazy.
What?
Right?
I'm not surprised. It's Memphis.
Yeah, so that was number 3. I'm gonna get that. You know what I mean? That black and pink Yeezy, that was fire. Yeah,
The OG, the Blink colorway.
Yeah, for sure. And then I'm gonna go to design. I'm gonna give you a Prada America cut. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like that's your whole T.I. era, Grand Hustle. You know, you can have whatever you like. All that, like that right there. That's like I had every color. If you knew me back then, you know I had the yellow ones, the navy, red boots. I had black. I had all of them. So and they used to really match well. This is like Young Dro is inspiring me right now.
Okay.
So
Wow.
I'm polo down. You know, I'm wearing polo hats. I got like, you know, it's like it was the real Brentwood guy look. Like, you know what I'm saying? You're like killing
the real
like,
middle class white guy look. That's what you're saying. All right.
for
Perfect.
sure. No. Because it's a Brentwood look because it's like everybody in Brentwood dresses like that. Like at one point, it was like my baby brother. This was his like look. He would do like the like the little
Vineyard
polo
vibes.
hat, the button up, the shorts with some Birkenstocks or some little boat shoes. I don't know if y'all remember that.
Yeah,
Sperry's.
The Sperry's.
Yeah, some
Sperry's.
Sperry's, like that was like a Nashville look. Like that took
okay.
over.
That was a whole era.
Yeah, so you know, like, but I instead of doing the Sperry's, I did the Pradas. You know, so that was
okay. That makes sense.
Okay.
It's adult.
Right. And then number 5, I'm gonna do a you know, Babe Besta. Can't really go wrong. Like if you got that lineup in your closet, like you're good. You could probably exchange like the lightning yellow for like a OG Jordan 1, like either in the blue colorway, royal colorway, or like you know, your black and red. You know, you can't go wrong with those. You could pretty much put a fit together with everything like that. You know. Like, excuse the disrespect. Excuse me. My number 1 shoe of all time my go-to is the white Air Force One low.
Okay.
Wow. It's because you're old man.
Yeah, so look. So all right. In the 8th grade, I'm leaving Baltimore. I'm like, you know, my dad, you know, he make a little money, but he's not trying to cop me Jordans every time, right? And Jordans, and the only thing that they was coming out with, I had a situation occurred with me and some Jordans. You know what I mean? Like, you know, that's a whole nother story, right? But so my dad had stopped wanting me to stop wearing Jordans, right? And then like they only was coming out with the snakeskin lows and stuff like that, right? In like that summer. So, but Nelly came out with Hot in Here with Down Baby. He had the white and yellow. And then Jay-Z had
99, 2000, right in there.
Yeah, Jay-Z had the Best of Me.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? He had the Air Force One. I was Jada Kiss.
Oh yeah.
I was white Air Force Ones from that point on. Like, wow. You know, and I remember like it just was it just made sense. It just could go with everything. I switched from
There you
I
go.
went from I used to wear the mids like as I was younger in my
Mm.
Jersey days, but as I got older, I'm a white
Jersey
low.
days.
Well,
Mason and I are both the Shadow 1 guys. Like anything, if I'm going to the grocery store or whatever, it's probably going to be some shadows and a hoodie, and that's that's the basics.
For sure, for sure. What's a comfort shoe? Give me something. What's your most comfortable shoe?
Man. For me,
I love Yeezy 350s. Like that's the comfort shoes. As a Yeezy 350, it doesn't matter which one.
For me, I mean, I don't know. I don't really. I guess an Air Max 90 is what I'm going with. That's just what I throw on all the time.
Yeah, I do like a 95. Sometimes.
See, they give me crap about 95s, D, all the time on this podcast. I'm like, that is a Nashville like staple of
95s aren't bad.
Classic.
It's just if I have a choice between an Air Max 1 or a 95 or a 90, 95 is coming last for me.
Anyway.
It's kind of bulky. I get it. I'm flat footed, so like I kind of like just the way it feels. Like the Air Max 1, they work for me at times. You know what I'm saying?
They're
like
real narrow.
I've had summers in those. Like I rock with them. You know what I'm saying? More so recently, I've gotten into a little boot phase. I went and got some
cowboy boots.
Nah, some Ricks. Nah, I'm gonna get it.
Some Rick Owens.
Yeah, for sure. I'm gonna get some. I'm gonna get some cowboy boots though.
Hayes has a plug.
So disappointed.
Hayes has.
I do have a plug. I have a boot plug that can get you some ostrich joints and some shark and some, I don't know, dragons or whatever else they do.
I would want to do a commercial for that. I for them. I want to like fully like cowboy.
I got a plug.
Like, let's shoot some content like dressed like that. Let me come out.
I love it.
Nah, that might not be a good thing. They might think I'm on some other stuff.
Your brand will take a big hit if that happens.
It's too many dark skinned guys doing that look right now.
Oh, you're stupid. All right, we only got a couple more minutes, and man, you've spent so much time with us. I have to do my favorite Dee Goodz songs that you guys should all go Google, and then you can shout out and do whatever you want. Okay, no particular order.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so in no particular order, Dope Don't Spoil. He talks about my tramp stamp, the stamp of Gorilla Valac. Oh my gosh, go listen to that. Good Night. He talks about his daughter. Like, that's one of my favorite songs.
That's after I got
so
shot.
Let me finish this verse so I can go and tell my daughter good night. Oh, Going Legit off the new album is absolute fire. We didn't even get to talk about it very much. Oh my gosh. Cutlass Supreme. Weekend in Miami. Shout out to B Jones. That is one of my favorite songs. I love Weekend in Miami. And then really, it's tough for you to find this but Long Live the Fly is one of my favorite Dee Goodz songs. Like, for real. All right, now you can have the rest of the time. Shout out, say whatever. Where can we find you? Like, all that stuff.
Man, hustlersdon'tcry.com, man. If you look it up, you can find me, Like, all of my stuff is there because, like, my names on social media is too hard to confuse to try to find. But if you look that up, then you'll find me. You know what I'm saying? Man, I just appreciate it, man. I appreciate the good energy, man. It's been, a good time, man. I appreciate y'all letting me rant and ramble.
We love it.
No, man, I feel like it was therapeutic. I feel like you got some stuff out that you needed to get out and process.
Yeah, for sure. About my subpar rap career, right?
Whatever, man. You just know there are people out there that are paying attention and that really and genuinely appreciate what you do.
Yeah, man. I hope so, man. I hope it hasn't all been in vain, I pray to God, but all the while I've enjoyed my time in this creative space that God has allowed me to be in, and we just gonna keep moving to the next phase and see what else he got and keep creating. Is what it is. Is what it is.
So
appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Thank you for coming on. This has been awesome.
Hey, anytime you get a wild hair and you're like, man, I want to go chop it up with these idiots that we're going to talk about my daughter and my family and my history and And they're gonna call it a sneaker podcast, right?
Hey, look, check this out. Check this out. This is the one time I'll do that, right? But next time, invite me during Titan season because I have a lot to say.
Oh, okay.
All right.
All right.
We'll put that down for sure.
We'll do that. And then next time you come on, we'll have to put on a beat and you got to freestyle.
Oh, yes.
Because sometimes I do that and I look like an idiot and it's
it's hilarious.
Rapping about coronavirus or something stupid.
Yeah, I do that, but then you got to make a beat live in 5 minutes.
Not hard. I got you. And easy.
All right,
I got you,
know
easy.
So
I got it easy.
We can make some challenges.
Yeah. Hey, whenever you decide to open up that studio in Nashville, we'll do a podcast there.
Yeah, for sure. You know, that could be soon. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
The problem in Nashville is Nashville real estate right now. It's just,
yeah, you're telling me.
It's so stupid. It is so stupid.
you know,
All right, man. So we're gonna find you on hustlersdon'tcry.com, Instagram, Twitter. You're on there all the time. And man, just respect and thanks for all you do and appreciate you coming on.
Man, one love, man. Like I said,
One
I
love.
appreciate the love, bro.
All right, go be with your family.
All right, man. Y'all be cool, fam. I'm going back in the studio.
Go back in the studio.
Hustlers don't cry. That's the motto.
See you, buddy.
Man. So he didn't say it, but I'm going to say it for him. If you want to follow him on Instagram, it's just DGOODZ, Dee Goodz on Instagram. Go
Same
give
on
him a
Twitter.
follow.
I'll be after this. I'm gonna go buy probably multiple things to support that man.
Those hoodies are pretty dope. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
like I said on the pod, I don't know if I can rock them, but maybe I just have to try.
Did you expect when you jumped on here that we would get a Mac Miller story?
No, that was gold,
dude. I thought I was going to try to take us there because I like, for real, I'm a fan. I remember when I first met him, it was in this little bitty tiny little studio at the bottom of Trevecca University. But I went and dude, I had a full-time job and it's like they're there until 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. And he recorded most of what turned out to be a mixtape that's called Floetic Justice, which go download it. You can find it on live mixtapes or DatPiff or like anywhere that you can get a mixtape. But at that point, Maggie, I remember her saying, like, I have this in her ear. She would say, Dee Goodz, look. Like he says look, like as an ad lib. And she'd be like, Dee Goodz, look. I didn't tell him that. I was going to tell him that story too.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to have him back on the pod. That was fun.
That was super fun. I'll tell you another story. So when I was really listening to a lot of Dee Goodz was the era of, man, I had 3 jobs. I lost a job. Oh, no. I was working at a bank and I'd work there 8 to 5. And then when I got off work, I'd come home and I'd eat dinner. And I probably had a couple of kids at this point. I played with my kids a little bit and say hi to Meg. And then I would go and clean 2 or 3 YMCAs. And this is MP3 time. Like I loaded my MP3 with Dee Goodz albums and all these guys that he mentioned that we didn't even talk about. Then I would just clean the YMCA and listen to these guys for hours, and then just try to go home and make beats. And then I'd get up and go to my full-time job. And like, that's why he means so much to me, is I remember these days of like having no hope of, man, I'm going to work 3 or 4 jobs forever. And listening to that, trying to make a beat that Dee Goodz would ever want to rap on, right? I mean, that's why that means a lot to me, just because that got me through that phase of life.
Wow, that's
How
cool.
about that?
It's weird that you still have things that I don't know about you. I feel like I know everything about you, and then we have a guest on that just brings out more stories. That's cool.
That was great, man. That was super fun. Hope y'all enjoyed that.
Yeah, I think we're just going to have to rename our podcast a sneakers podcast, but in quotes.
Yeah, barely.
Barely
Barely.
A barely sneakers podcast.
But that's what makes this so great, right? If I was listening to this, like it's the stuff that's not about sneakers that I really, really like.
Yeah, I mean, how many people have heard that Mac Miller story? Not a lot.
Maybe never.
That is so cool. Yeah, I know he's been on Complex interviews and Complex YouTube stuff, and honestly, it's just for me, it's humbling to. I know he doesn't speak incredibly highly about himself, calling himself a struggling rapper or whatever, but
he's got 10 albums.
Like, that was really dope. I mean, somebody who's out there actually making a difference, especially with like the Feed 1K families. You know, we got to touch on that.
This man has 10 albums on iTunes, Spotify, and there's no telling how many other mixtapes.
Yeah.
So this isn't just a run of a mill Joe Schmo. Like, he's really making it. He's got a brand that he's trying to, man. I wish we'd gotten to talk more about his dad and his family. Like, that's something definitely I want to go back and talk about with him again. But he'll definitely have to come back on again.
Yeah.
Where do you even go for this point?
Yeah, I don't know. I think we may just have to like split that up into two podcasts. I don't know. Maybe we can get it all in. I don't know.
I'm going to leave that up to you. But I mean, for the Still Dripping Army, he is a I don't know. He's something in there. He's like he might be on the Mount Rushmore for me
of guests. Yeah,
of guests.
No doubt. I mean, that was really cool.
I got nothing else to do. I got nothing else to say on this one. We'll just leave it at that, and we'll call it.
Yeah, you got any picks of the week?
Supreme drops this week. It's the first season, week and 1. That's about it. Anything else? I'm just trying to get over the fact that we just had Dee Goodz on our podcast.
You know what? Let's scrap Supreme. Let's just say your pick of the week is go check out hustlersdon'tcry.com. They've got some dope merch, some dope hats.
I produced a song, like shameless plug. I did produce a song on his album, the newest one, and several others, but I'll just say this one, the last one, which is about, it's called Man in the Sky. That's me. I did that one.
That's dope.
So go download that. I wish you had a clean version. I mean, I rock cleans, but I mean, maybe I'll make one since I made the beat. Maybe that's what I'll do.
All right. Well,
what did you learn? Mason?
What did I learn? Man, I know he's not going to give himself credit, but as far as I know, Dee Goodz discovered Mac Miller.
Yeah. Okay. I think what I'll say is that, and this is, maybe it's preaching to the choir. Mitch is a common theme of what we talk about is, there's a lot of different things that can connect you, and it can feel real superficial that we have a sneaker podcast. But that story was about perseverance. It was about overcoming depression. It was about overcoming not feeling supported. It was about feeling connected to people that you might have never met. And you never know what kind of impact you're going to have on people. And so I would reiterate what I've said several times in the past, and that is, let's get back to being real people and being kind to each other. And if that was the case, we wouldn't have to worry about most of the stuff that we're arguing about in society, Yeah.
I think it's, when you're talking about that, it reminds me of something that we used to say back in the Mike Mitchell era, when we were both with Mike Mitchell and Steve Johnson. And
his birthday was 2 days ago. Yesterday.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
It was yesterday.
Yeah, that's right.
You're going to get me in my feelings.
I know. We would always say this is real life. And real life and real struggles. And you know what? It's good to feel that feeling of it's not all superficial. This is real life. And so I think something that we always forget to think is like where people are now is where they've always been. But, that's not true, right? Like where we are now is not where we've always been. And everybody goes through it. Nobody's living a perfect life. So I think it's good to be reminded of that, and that you can come out of it.
Last thing is that this is going to be this year is going to be the best of times, and it's going to be the worst of times. And it's up to me what I do with that. And that should be my expectation until the Lord comes back.
Amen.
And that's what I learned. And roll that music.
We'll insert it here.
Put the beat I made. Boom. I can't remember how it goes. It's a.
Do you have the beat still?
Yeah, I got it. I'll send it to you,
Yeah,
and it's going to play right now. Rap. Spit some bars. So well.
I know you can. You got it.
I'm desperate.
Thank you guys for listening. We'll see you next week.
Respect. You could be anywhere in the world, but you're here with us. We appreciate that.